Other than using the 13 mini for a few weeks, I've pretty much been using the iPhone 13 Pro Max since it came out, and it's been a really wonderful, albeit huge companion to have with me. I've avoided doing a more straight up review of it because I'm sure you've seen plenty of those and I didn't want to add to the pile here on YouTube. So instead I'm going to take you with me on another day in the life of freelance work and content creation and show you how the iPhone fits into all of this. Before we start though, this is my iPhone. It's the 13 Pro Max in graphite, although I do think the Sierra Blue is the way to go. It's got a whopping 512 gigabytes of storage, and I've got to thank the kind people at Apple for sending this one out for me to take a look at. So I guess I really shouldn't complain about the colour. Anyway, if you do like aesthetic tech content, be sure to subscribe and let's get right into it. My iPhone use starts from the very beginning of each day. It's my alarm in the morning, and I know having your phone rest next to your head isn't supposed to be ideal for you, but I can't seem to shake that habit. Paired with my iPhone is the Apple Watch Series 4, which is still going strong for me. I haven't felt the need to upgrade it at all. The newer features on the Series 5, 6 and 7 haven't really appealed to me massively, and the battery life is lasting me a day at a time no problem, so I've just stuck with this one. I'm currently using just the Apple MagSafe charger for both of these, but if you have a cleaner recommendation then do let me know. I've seen a few that combine them, but none have really stuck out to me. I find they all look just kinda gross. Today I've got a shoot booked that's luckily not too far from where I live, so I don't need to get up crazy early this morning. It's another round of video work this time, so I need to pack my camera bag before I head out. I keep a list on my Notion now for all my camera gear for either photo or video shoots, so I'll check that off on my iPhone to ensure I've got everything before I head out. All of my photography and video work is still done on the very wonderful Sony a7 III and a collection of prime lenses. I'll also bag up my Sony a6400 as a backup in case anything happens, along with a load of other bits I'm going to need for the shoot. A new addition to my setup is these wonderful Moment ND filters. I had been using some relatively cheap ones before that would have this nasty dark cross over the frame when using them or adjusting them, but not anymore thanks to these. I'll also be sure to pack the Manfrotto Pixie tripod, which has a phone adapter on it. I bring this because I'm very often working alone on these shoots and I like to have something to show for it, so I usually pop my iPhone on this and just put it down somewhere to film what's going on. It's useful to see how I had things set up in the past, or as a reminder of what I did for each client. Okay, so very exciting. All of that fits into my brand new camera bag. This is the Wandered Provoke 21 with the Essential camera cube inside. It's a super nice bag. I love this completely blacked out look. And this is actually the first time I'm using it, so super excited to do that. It's got tons of cool little pockets and this roll top. And yeah, I get way too excited about camera bags, so yeah, I'm just excited about this too. After getting everything packed up, I give Pocky some much needed attention, pack my car with all my equipment and make my way to the shoot. I'll then use my iPhone to get Spotify on the go and use this terrible radio adapter to listen to music in the car. I really wish I had an aux input at least, but my 2007 car is just too old for that, and Bluetooth streaming wasn't really a thing back then. On a lot of these shoots, I don't get much time to myself as it's very much go, 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 and unfortunately this time I didn't even find the time to set up my iPhone on the side to film this specific shoot. So here's some older footage of when I did, but honestly most shoots look something like this, just usually with a lot less people. During a shoot, I'll mainly make use of my iPad instead of my phone to keep track of how things are going. Things like shot lists and timings I keep on there in Google Docs or Microsoft To Do, and I do this because if you're on your phone while filming someone, it can often look like you're not really paying attention, and that's not something I like to put across during a shoot, so more often than not, I'll just have my phone in my pocket and on silent. I'm feeling extra lucky today as I'm not editing the footage I've shot, I'm just handing it over to the client and letting them edit it in-house, so once I've handed the footage over, I'm free to return home and to get back on with my day. By the time I'm home, I get some lunch on the go and also jump on the phone with my good friend Isaac, who you might know from the Canoopsy channel. We've recently launched some new wallpapers together that we're both super proud of. This was called the Rise pack, but today we're talking about bringing out a second pack for the most requested colour combinations we had, and I'm actually super happy to say that pack is available now. So if you like any of the wallpapers you've seen in this video, then I'll pop a link in the description so you can grab them. We worked super hard on these and we're really grateful to everyone who picks them up. So if you do or you have, then thank you a lot. It really does help support our channels and it means a lot to us personally. After jumping off the call, I'll head up into my office and get on with my YouTube channel for the rest of the day. I'll have a quick social media check of Twitter and Instagram and then reply to any comments on the YouTube Studio app. After that, I'll check my to-do list on Microsoft To Do and I'll reference that with Notion to see what I've got left for the rest of the day. I'm pretty new to Notion and I must admit I'm enjoying it a lot more now than I was when I first got it. And I'm sure a lot of you out there really do know a lot more about it than I do, but using it to manage my channel has been really helpful recently, and despite still being relatively new at understanding how all of it works, putting together templates to help with my work has been so good. I finally got a place for keeping track of everything rather than an array of apps like I was using before. For the next couple of hours, I've got a huge amount of B-roll I need to get for an iPad comparison video I've been working on for a few days, so I'm going to grab all of that using the purple background I've been so fond of recently. Once that's sorted, it's approaching 2 o'clock, and that's usually the time I like to post on Instagram. I've been experimenting with posting times recently, and 2 o'clock seems to be the best for me. For today's post, I've got the photos hanging around in my Lightroom app, so I'll dive into there, add any final edits, export them out, and get them posted up. I edit all of my photos in Lightroom, which I make use of across all of my devices. It's cloud-based, so I can edit photos on my phone that I imported from my PC or Mac and just carry on where I left off. Super useful. I edit all of my photos with a preset pack that I created, which really pushes this grainy pastel look that I love. So if you like that style of editing and use Lightroom yourself, then I'll link the preset pack below so you can check it out. After everything's sorted, I can finally get into video editing mode. And I find one of the best ways for me to get on with work in general, and especially with video editing, is to actually separate myself from my phone completely. As amazing as they are, it's one of the most distraction-heavy devices I own, and even more so after posting something on Instagram, so setting it down to get on with work is pretty much essential to me. To make sure I do this, I use an app called Focus Noodles. I've spoken about this app a little bit in the past, but it's basically a way of encouraging you to not go on your phone. It's quite simple. You put an amount of time that you'd like to focus, it will show you a cute drawing of the type of noodles you can make in that time, and then you flip your phone over to start. This mutes all of your notifications to let you get on with what you're trying to do, and if you do feel tempted to pick up your phone, it will flash and make noises to show that you're ruining the noodles you're fake cooking. It's kind of a silly app at its core, and of course the timer can basically do the same function as this, but I find it's a nice little way to gamify getting on with work, as it rewards you with funny little story tiles when you complete a certain amount of time that you're not on your phone. This all syncs up with focus modes too, so if you're into that, this works there. Oh, you may have noticed that I don't actually use a case or screen protector on any of my phones. I've tried loads in the past and I just can't get on with them. Even Apple's like really nice kind of official leather ones, I really like the look of, but then when I put it on, I just never enjoy the experience. I think it's the added bulk that I really don't like, but I'm always open to looking at others. So if you guys have got any recommendations, let me know what you're using in the comments below and I'll be sure to check them out. But I think, to be honest, I've always just been a naked phone sort of guy. In the evening, I try to finish up by 5 o'clock. I know some people don't stop, but I think it's important to have a cut-off time, otherwise it's really easy to just burn out. However, owning a phone and running your own business makes that really tricky, especially when you really enjoy the work, so my brain will often be ticking throughout the evening. I'll be thinking of small ideas which I'll jot down with Notion, or if I have a bigger idea that I want to flesh out a little more, I'll open up Google Docs on my phone and write down some key points or notes. This is one of the reasons I love working on cloud-based apps so much. Everything is always with me regardless of what device I'm using at the time, so I can always capture what I'm thinking of, even if I'm just sitting on my phone. For the rest of the evening, I'll use my phone pretty typically, browsing Twitter, replying to comments on Instagram or YouTube. I've also started using the Xbox app a lot recently to see who's online and up for some Halo or any other game. After a heavier day like today, I'll always pop my phone on the charger before heading to bed, but honestly though, the battery life is never an issue on the iPhone Pro Max. Today I'm ending on 63%, but most days when I don't have to leave the house for work, I usually sit on around 70 to 80% of charge, which is just crazy. It's a genuine 2-day phone if you use it like I do, with my average screen on time sitting between 2 to 4 hours. That just about wraps up another typical day in the life for me at the moment and how the iPhone fits into all of it. I'm happy to wear my biases on my sleeve. An iPhone has always been my go-to default phone. It was my first ever smartphone, and whenever I come back to it after testing out a different device, I always feel like I'm home again. It's one of the big reasons I stopped looking at Android devices in general on this channel, even though I miss the awesome amount of customization they give, along with the awesome new form factors like the folding phones. Let me know in the comments below if you're a Pro Max user or if you're on the other side of the fence and you dislike the really huge size. I know it's not for everyone. Oh, and if you have watched this far in, be sure to drop a rice ball emoji. I love seeing who has actually got this far in the video. Anyway, that wraps up this video. If you've enjoyed, pop a like on the way out, that would be massive, and I will see you all in the next one.